Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Crusader Kings 3, Roads to Power. So last episode we got our first contract completed, and thus we now have a patron. There's a variety of different requests that you can make from a patron. We can ask for 400 provisions, which because we're already at our capacity or close to our capacity, we would sell 305 of those for 15.25 gold. If you have a hook on your patron, then this does result in you losing that hook, which we got this one because we excelled at the contract that we completed for him. You can still make a request from a patron even if you don't have a hook. The main benefit of having one is I don't think the AI can refuse you in that case. So in addition to losing the hook, we'd also lose 20 opinion. Used me for favors. What you ask for will change how much you lose there. So you can see that we're going to lose 40, in this case 30 here, and 50 if we demand to arrange a marriage. The character does gain prestige for helping you out. In fact, I think you're giving them your prestige since these do have a prestige cost to making these requests. And in the case of the provisions, you'll see that he'll get this modifier that will reduce his supply limit and his popular opinion for 3 years. We can also request gold, however the chieftain here does not have enough to be willing to share. You could ask for a men-at-arms regiment. This does require that you have one slot open, and this will give you a random one, so really isn't the best option. It's basically just saving you from having to purchase the men-at-arms for yourself. You could rent a knight. Often you'll have far more knight positions than you have followers, so this can be a nice way to increase your combat ability. And also he'll present 3 knights, so it's not like you're just getting a random one. You get to select the best one out of those 3 that he offers. You could instead ask to arrange a marriage. So this is something I want to show you guys here in a minute. First we'll look at this last option, which is to ask for a contract. He does have to have a valid contract, but basically you're just using your request to get another job and thus have a chance to earn a bit more money. Due to our lack of prestige, we can't ask for anything. This one here would cost 150. But what I wanted to show you guys with the marriage, if we go to our character and then attempt to find a spouse, you can see that the only option available is our caravan master. And that is when we have all the filters completely opened up. Well, I suppose the fertility is still set to fertile. And so if we change that, then we'd also have this character because she's older and thus no longer fertile. So unlike landed characters, you can't simply arrange a marriage with a landed character. The only way to do it is to use that option to make a request. And so if we did this, if we had the prestige and we're able to do it, then that would allow us to arrange a marriage between somebody in his court and either ourselves or one of our followers. Now looking at his courtiers, which I did turn on a few filters here to find some unmarried female characters, he actually does have a pretty decent option here. If we wanted to spend the prestige, I mean, she's got good intrigue, her traits aren't too bad, and just overall I think she'd be a good follower. She's young, healthy, no negative traits. She is lowborn, but that's to be expected. Marrying lowborn characters is far more common as a landless adventurer. We're going to go and move our camp over to here. See if we can't find some different jobs, since we can't do any of the mercenary jobs since we don't have our army just yet. But yeah, what I probably should have done is marked her. Pinned her up here. I'm looking for spouses. That's what we've got pinned up here because we're eventually going to want to find ourselves a spouse. And should also join as a follower so we can make use of her skills for many of these different missions. We did get this hermit event. We've seen this many times before. Some of the events are a little bit different now that you're a landless adventurer. But I think in this case, we probably wouldn't care about the prophecy. I think we just say, let's go. And we'll just ignore her. Seems like a rude thing to do. So it fits our character. Like any CK3 DLC, we get a bunch of new events that will fire all the time until you're absolutely sick of them. And this is one of them when you're a landless adventurer. This event happens quite often. But basically, one of your camp followers is in the spot of another one when it comes to their tent. And so you can side with the person who's in the right, whose spot this is, or you can side with the other character. Kind of allows you to pick favorites, I suppose. If you're a just character, then you're going to always want to go with this, or else you'll gain stress. But for our character, I don't think we care. We can't be bothered by this. Figure it out amongst yourselves. This will actually gain us prestige and doesn't cause any penalties for us. These two are just going to be annoyed at each other. Yeah, I just don't think we can be bothered by such, irrelevant issues. Alright, so because we visited this temple, we gained 200 learning lifestyle experience points. We also got some piety. That's one of the advantages of being landless, is that you get to travel all over the map and visit all those locations that give you bonuses for moving into them. Which, as a landed character, you can do that too. It's just much rare. And you could target those locations too. If you know where they're at, then you can specifically move over to those. So the first thing we're going to do here is visit the tribal holding. See what we can find. We'll start in the local tavern. Of course, we're going to hear that story as well. Could pay the 18 gold to get that Hasta Looter trait, which will increase opinion with anybody else who has the Hasta Looter trait, and also let us work towards getting the wit bonus there. However, this one's a stewardship one, so I think it's worth investing in. See if we can increase our stewardship. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. We just got this one, which only helps for 3 months. And it's not going to help us much because we're not earning anything just yet. And so that 28% isn't going to give us any advantage. We'll see if there's anybody here that we could recruit that doesn't cost us too much and also needs to be worth it. So probably don't want to hire somebody who's 71 years old. Here's a 34-year-old character who's strong. Military engineer, skilled tactician, overall has some decent skills, including points in intrigue and martial. And not a bad character, so might want to hire him. It'll cost us 39 gold, and we really need to get some other followers to help us out in these contracts. And then we have a 29-year-old wandering woman here. She's also quite strong. She's got the Hail trait. She's a hunter. She's not as good overall. I mean, her prowess is much higher. But I like that he's got that intrigue ability. So I think we'll want to hire him. He cost a little bit more than her. Yeah, we're going to have him join the camp. And then we'll also see what else might be available here. We could get more supplies. I think we're okay for now. Let's see if there's any contracts available. There are not. Now, part of the reason we're having some difficulty finding contracts is due to our low fame. There'll be more contracts available once we get to that distinguished level. So it appears that there's nothing here for us. There's no contracts available, nothing else for us to do, so we're going to have to go back on the move. We are running a little bit lower on provisions. We're still good. What we could do, since we haven't done it yet, is we could go fishing. This would also reduce our stress. Character's a little stressed out. So let's go ahead and take a day to do a bit of fishing. As I'm making my way down to the bank of water, the scent of salt and fish fills my nose. A couple of people are finishing up, leaving the entire shoreline for me to use. A day like this doesn't come every day, and I should make the most of it. My champion Aki has decided to join me today. An opportunity to connect presents itself, or I can choose to fish alone. A day of relaxation awaits. So we can choose to fish alone, or we can bring a key. Now what I've noticed is that if you bring somebody who often don't get provisions, you reduce the stress and you improve relations with that character. Now when it comes to the key, he already really likes us. We could make friends with him because we're kind of similar. You know, he's callous while we're sadistic. He's kind of paranoid though. He's lazy, so we don't really like that about him. But overall, he's very similar to us in skills and traits. And our character is not one who doesn't make friends at all. He just likes to see people suffer, and sometimes it's nice to have a friend as you invoke suffering in other people for you guys to enjoy it together. And so yeah, maybe we're going to be really close. We're both really big men as well. So I'd like to get a friendship with him, but we're here for the provisions. And sometimes we just want to be alone. And so we're going to go with that option, a moment to reflect. I inhale deeply and exhale as I cast my line out into the water. The hook lands with a quiet plop, and the world goes silent. My vision wanders along the shoreline, having a moment alone to process my thoughts. Life as an adventurer is not all that bad, but no life is without stress. I close my eyes for a moment to rest when I'm suddenly jerked awake by something pulling the fishing pole out of my hands. So we can grab firm and pull. This is a prowess challenge, and interestingly, if you win, you lose more stress, but you don't get the provisions. It's only losing that you get the provisions, so kind of strange there. Nothing bites. I mean, it said that we had pulled, we were pulling something in. Maybe we just caught some seaweed. If we've ever gone fishing, you catch all kinds of things. Seaweed or other types of plants or an old boot or something else that you don't want to pull up from under the water. So I suppose we need to move camp again. And we'll go over to here. Eventually we're going to make our way back to Denmark. This will cost us 500 provisions. Still doing alright on provisions, but getting a little bit lower here. We can't always purchase them. It's just a shame we haven't been finding any contracts yet. It figures, because I've done 2 little Landless adventure playthroughs, and this is the one where I've had the most difficulty when it comes to finding contracts, or at least good ones that you're able to complete. But it looks like we just got lucky, maybe because I finally said something. We have a couple different options here, so we'll want to probably complete both of those. Since we already did a hired muscle one, we'll do the instructor of knights next. I feel confident that we should be able to complete this one, earn a good amount of money, and also get a new patron. And then of course we'll get those provisions as well, replacing some of the ones we used to get over here. So we will have to travel over there, so I guess there's that as well, but we're not going to be bringing our camp so that we're not using any of those provisions. Starving soldiers. A figure stumbles into camp dirty and tired, clearly in need of a square meal. His name is Ivar, he says. There are more like me. He gestures off in the distance. All of us left to rot after a petty conflict ends. Our sword arms work as well as ever, but our lot is to wander and starve. We're the only ones left who won't rob the vulnerable for food and valuables. His eyes glint with determination, despite his haggard bearing. I'd rather die. Well, let's just take a look at Ivar the Timid. Okay, so he doesn't seem like his sword arms work as well as ever, because he's a craven, calm and diligent. He's very good when it comes to stewardship, as intrigue's decent as well. But I don't know that we'd want to take this guy on, particularly considering the fact that we have this option to say, you're better than I and more foolish, because we are sadistic and because we have the gallows bait trait. So with this option, we rob him of his 32 gold. We also take his brooch, which will give us some very nice bonuses. Increased fertility, prowess, prestige, knight effectiveness. Yeah, that's really nice. We also get 13 bandit experience, and we'll lose a bit of stress, probably because we're sadistic, so we enjoy doing this. And that would basically reduce our stress almost to 0. These are the other options, just in case you want to look at them. There are some decent bonuses here, maybe if you get that 25% by giving some food, but obviously this is the choice that our character would want to take. Now we will want to get that roach put on our persons, get all those nice bonuses there. So we finally got to do a bit of banditry. And we did that one criminal mission and failed. So far we have not made a good criminal. We did just get the barber's tent completed. Alright, excellent. So if we take a look at that, I'm going to throw this event down here. We're now getting those bonuses for the disease resistance. And most importantly, we now have a passive income. Now it says it's just 0.2, that's because it doesn't show the 100th decimal spot. But you'll see that we are getting a 16% from our stewardship, so we're actually earning about 0.23 every day. Now we're not going to invest in anything else just yet. We need to earn a bit of money, and we're currently doing a contract, the Instructor of Champions. As I arrive, I'm greeted by Chieftain Heralder. I'm glad you could make it. We are in need of an expert in the ways of war, as our commanders are rather unschooled. Marshal Helgi bows his head and quickly adds, at least according to our liege. I would be pleased to invite you in, but my chieftain expects you to begin training immediately. Pick whomever you wish and have them armed. So yeah, let's go and start this contract. These are his 3 champions, and they are a sorry lot. You got a 64-year-old whose health is ailing, so probably not going to train him. I don't see much point in that. His fighting days are done. This character, I guess he has some hope. He's only 39, prowess is 7. Now this character here, he has the grape hawks, so I don't really want to work with him. So I suppose this is the best option, this character here. So we'll try and increase his prowess through these contract events. To know what I'm dealing with, I invite Olafur to spar with a key. They take their stances awaiting an opening. Olafur's guard weakens first, allowing in a few but precise blows from a key's axe. He has trouble even staying standing. Looks like this will be a rather long lesson. I stop the bout before it gets bloody. Thank you for your efforts. I've seen enough to know how to proceed with your teachings. We could say that I could use someone like this myself. This is a diplomacy challenge where if we succeed, he would join our camp and we'd have to pay the chieftain. Also would cost us some provisions. He's really not that impressive, and that's not what we're here for. We could instead teach him the flexible leader trait. Should be easy, it's a martial challenge, so an 80% chance of success, and then he'd learn that trait. We'd also lose some stress because we're brave, though we don't really have much stress at the moment. We could instead have a key give him a private lesson. This is a prowess challenge, and it looks like it's not highly likely to succeed. So it would be better for us to train him ourselves, 72% chance of success, and that would increase his prowess by 4 compared to just the 2 here. While I feel like this is the safest option, I think this one here makes the most sense, since we're trying to increase his prowess ability. So he learned a lot from us and got 4+ prowess. Our excellence, now he's at 11. So we did a good job there. So we do need to train the rest of these guys too. Okay, so I guess we'll work on him next, just because I don't want to work with the sick guy. He should be resting. So this is the same event with the same options. However, the percentages are different since they're based on his skills. And since he's an older man, I think it would be better to teach him a commander trait. In this case, Forder. And it looks like we were successful. Alright, so we actually need to train all 3 of these guys. So unfortunately we have to work with this sick guy. Usually you have more options, but this guy just doesn't have very many knights or champions. So we certainly don't want to hire this sick guy. As far as what we are going to do, might just teach him this trait again, since we have a better chance of success and we're very close to having an exceptional contract and thus getting the extra benefits. So if we succeed, we get 108 gold compared to just 62. We get twice the opinion bonus, the same amount of prestige, and he'll still be added to our roll. We get a weak hook regardless as well, and then the provisions are going to be the same. So let's go with the 79% chance here on the martial challenge, in which case we were successful. We completed the contract and thus got that 108 gold. Alright, excellent. And of course we got that hook too, so we can make use of that, and we got a martial perk. We were very close to getting that. That doesn't have anything to do with the contract we just did. So we could continue down this branch and get some very powerful bonuses for our troops. However, we're not even leading an army yet because we don't have an army, and thus it would be better to go probably with this option here, with this branch, the Overseer, because the first one, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to wait to get men-at-arms, because the first one gives us a reduction for the recruitment cost of 10%, also gives increased natural dread. And honestly, there are some great bonuses here. And so I think we're going to want to go all the way down this branch here. I don't know that I've shown all the bonuses for the martial perks, so we'll just quickly hover over these so you can see them. Some of these are more helpful than others. I think this route is probably for the best right now, though I do want to invest in these too, because that can result in us having a very powerful military. So we might want to go ahead and purchase those men-at-arms, or we can go ahead and get something else in our camp here. We have a couple different options. We looked at building something new, like getting the proving ground so we can get that Master of Arms and all these other benefits here. Another choice would be to wait until we have the 200 to get the upgrade to the pavilion, or we could just upgrade the barber's tent to get even more passive income here. It'll be twice what we're currently getting. However, considering the fact that we have had difficulty finding the jobs, I think it would be good to build ourselves a bit of an army. And so we have enough money To get some men-at-arms, they're also going to be cheaper now since we just got that perk. And so we're going to get our first men-at-arms unit. Now we do have a lot of unique options because we're a Norse character. So let's kind of show you guys some of the choices. We have 2 for the heavy infantry. The Huskarls counter the spearmen and the archers, while the Varangian veterans will counter the spearmen and heavy cab. So as far as the counters go, this one's a little bit more useful. But you can see that the Varangian veterans are just better overall as far as their damage and toughness. There is an additional difference. They have the pursuit, while the Huskarls have the screening, so that's when you lose the battle. And then I think they're different when it comes to the terrain modifiers as well. But I think in this case we'll probably want to start with the Varangian veterans since they're the best unit that we could get. I do want to show the other unique options. You got the Bondi. They will counter light cav and archers. Honestly, other than the counters and maybe the terrain bonuses here, definitely not the best option. And then you have the Vigmen, which are basically bowmen who are focused on defense rather than the damage. So you can see they have a much higher toughness. Also, they have the screen that the bowmen don't have, and then their terrain modifiers are different. So might want to get them at some point. I think we'll get the Varangian veterans just to show you guys how they compare to the default armored footmen for the heavy infantry. Clearly significantly better. So let's go and recruit those. Quite expensive at 120, and you notice that we're only recruiting 5, and that's how the men-at-arms usually are. You only get 5 and then you have to wait until they build up to 100. However, there's several unique aspects to the men-at-arms for the landless characters. So first of all, they cannot restore their numbers on their own. We lack reliable manpower sources, and thus we must manually reinforce our men-at-arms. And so there's a couple different ways you can do that. So the first is refilling with either provisions or gold. I generally use the provisions. That's the better option. However, you can only do these so often. There's like a cooldown for it. And then you might not have the provisions or the gold. So you have some other options in the scrape the barrel section. And so you can try to inspire followers using diplomacy and prowess. You have a 70% chance to gain just 25 soldiers. So unlike with these options here, which will fully refill your manpower, this one will only restore a certain amount. And you can also fail. 29% chance that we'll just lose prestige. We could seek volunteers. That's also going to spend prestige to get us 25 soldiers. We can recruit zealots, but there are some strict requirements for this, so obviously can't do it in most occasions. You can also impress mercenaries, so that would be an option. And if we did that, we would lose 5 of our dread, and we only have a 27% chance to get 25 soldiers. It's probably not worth the dread. Now, we obviously have their provisions right now, so we can go ahead and just use those to refill the men-at-arms, which is immediate. So we now have the 100. Once we get more money, we can also increase their size. We can get them up to size 3. So 300 men-at-arms total. So you likely noticed in the camp that there's a lot of upgrades that will allow you to increase these further, make them much larger, and also to allow you to get additional men-at-arms. Because as of right now, we can only have the 1 regiment. So we're quite limited in that regard. So next, let's go ahead and go into the tribal holding. We haven't done that yet. So let's see what kind of advantages you might be able to get here, like at the tavern, hearing that story. We could increase our learning. You know what, guys? I think we're going to go ahead and try and get this hash the looter trait while we have a bit of money. Again, that one's pretty useful for the opinion bonus, but also because we'll slowly be building towards the wit, which could get us a point in diplomacy. Obviously not all that helpful for this character because he's in the negative when it comes to diplomacy, but yeah, we still want to invest in it. So let's go ahead and take that option to get that hash the looter trait. We can also see if there's anybody available to recruit. We don't really have any money, so there have to be a free one, which means they probably wouldn't be very good. But we have a new option available here. Oh my, who is that? This option is available because we're unmarried. So we can take a look and see who this character is. Okay, so it's just the woman that was there. And she's 44 years old. So really not a good option for a spouse. Could still have her join the camp though. Though her skills aren't all that impressive. She's got good prowess, but that's about it. There's not a lot of positions where prowess is going to be helpful. But if we did want her to join our camp, we could either pay her, do the intrigue challenge. This one's not available because we're not a seducer. We're just going to return to the tavern, guys. Again, we can look in here, see if anybody's free. Well, again, that's really rare. I almost think it's because we didn't have very many characters that they made that available. We'll try and sell some artifacts. Let me see if there's any other additional jobs here. So we got lucky. There are a few different choices. We can either go with the transport contracts, where you transport something, usually a fairly good distance. Instead, we have learning contracts, which we would not do very well at that, though I think we do have some followers that have good learning. Or we could try and get more criminal contracts. I suppose we could do this one here, even if we don't take them. It would cost us 75 prestige, though. And we have another job, so you know what? This is what we'll do. Maybe we'll come back here. But for now, we have a job available that we can take. We have the hired muscle. So we're going to go do that. Yeah, this is basically the Landless gameplay, guys. A big part of it is doing these jobs, these contracts. Now, since we do have an army, we could try and help out in one of these stand with us missions. And you know what, I think we will. After we finish this up, I wanted to get a bit more money first. And these aren't too difficult for us to do. We've been pretty successful with the hired muscles so far. So if we continue to have that success, we can earn some quick money. So a friendly clamor. It's tough to describe what's so appealingly intimate about the low buzz of a camp settling in for the evening. Maybe it's the heart guffaws of warriors telling dirty jokes, the mixed screams and forced politeness from the barber's tent, or even the rhythmic, metallic thunking of nails being hammered into soft terrain all around me. All this forms a quiet, comforting blanket of familiarity. This is my domain, and these are my people, a small kingdom, but one where I know every sight, sound, and soul. So we can retire to our own tent and simply listen. This will gain us some prestige and we'll lose the stress we don't have. Or instead say perhaps a shave and a haircut, and we'll get some increased attraction opinion. Not sure if he cares too much about that. We're just going to retire to our own tent. We got a job to work on tomorrow, so need to get some good sleep. So same event that we've seen before. We're going to go with that balanced range again. So I'm pause this and get our agents appointed. A key is always best here is the muscle, clearly. So put him in place. We actually have somebody for the bodyguard position as well. Let's just see where they'd all be best at, though. In this case, we might want to actually have our caravan master do the bodyguard mission because he would be much better as a footpad. So you know what, let's do that. I mean, not much better. He's actually a little worse, but my point is he's the only one that can really do this skill well. And we need to reduce the phase length time as much as possible because I think our success chance is going to be pretty good. So yeah, we'll appoint her to this and then make him the footpad. That reduces it down to 23 days. We want to get another lookout here. So let's put him to reduce this further because we're already at 85%. And then we'll just get the 1 point from her. She's pretty useless, honestly. She doesn't really help us out much. Maybe if there's something involving learning. You know, I talked about those learning missions. We could actually use her for those. So now our phase length is really not too bad, guys. 18 days. And so we'll be getting those 5, and by then we'll be sitting at the 86% success chance. So we should only need... Oh, wait a minute. Well, that's unfortunate. Our scheme was ended. Something changed here. Maybe they lost their title? Not entirely sure, but just basically a waste of time, which kind of sucks because we are going to be able to get that completed fairly quickly. Oh, this follower of ours is known as the Chaste. He does have that Chaste trait. And so now he has that nickname. Well, there is another job that just popped up over here. I think this is the guy we already worked for, right? Yeah, same guy. So he's already one of our patrons. So what we might want to do before we do another mission for him is to go ahead and make use of our request from him. Now we can't get gold, We do need provisions, so that would be helpful. We could see if he's got anybody worth marrying. It seems he does not. So yeah, we could just go for the provisions then. Yeah, we'll make this request, as we did need additional provisions. And then we're going to do this new mission for him. So we're not going to move our camp there. We'll just walk over here. We don't want to use our provisions that we just requested. So this is that contract that I talked about last episode, where it kind of interacts with your men-at-arms, because you can actually lose some of your men-at-arms in the mission, which means you'd have to restore them using either provisions or gold. So it's one thing to keep in mind. But you can see that you can support some counties, while other ones you can get under the marshal's control. And I think to succeed at the contract, you just need to get more counties under the marshal's control than you actually support. Now, in the case of this particular contract, there's only one county, so basically we have to do this option here. But we'll go and read this. It says, when we arrive, I'm quick to round up the worst of the rabble-rousers and demand that they explain themselves. A peasant of some reputation speaks for the rest. It is our place to be ruled over, but the chieftain does so unjustly. With chaos rife in the land, while we can hardly hold on to what is ours, still he drives us to labor for him like workhorses. We toil without any promise of safety from war, maladies, and the like. So we could just say silence your people or die, peasant, which really fits with our character. We'll actually lose stress because we're wrathful. Or we can say I cannot stand for this manner of injustice, and then we'll gain stress because we're wrathful. This does please all your lowborn followers, which I believe all of our followers are lowborn, so we'll get a 15 opinion with them for siding with the peasants. And then of course we'll fail at the mission as well, because we only have the one county that we're interacting with. We're obviously going to go with this option, fits for our character, and we have to do it to complete the mission, to complete the contract. And so with that, we got another hook on him. Thought we'd already lost the hook there, considering the fact that we just used it. So I think we should look for a mercenary contract next. We'll see if there's any close by. These are all much further up north. There is one down south here, though it's a losing side, so not a good one to start with. I don't really want to go that far north for this mission, and they both look, this one's not too bad. We actually might be able to help win that one. It's in the mountains as well. Yeah, honestly, not a big fan of any of these missions, so we might just move our camp. See, there is war here between the Norse and the Anglo-Saxons over there in England. Let's go ahead and move down to this location again. But then tend to see if there's anything else over here besides this really crappy one, and also to visit this location for that bonus that you get. There is one down here in the south that would be a pretty good option that we could easily win and get paid on. So let's start moving towards that. Maybe we'll find something else along the way as well. So let's just move over to this location. So we're using a lot of our revisions with all this movement. Something to consider. Could have done that a different way as well, like just sailed over there. But I wanted to visit this so that we get the 25 martial lifestyle experience points. It's not a lot, but it's helpful. The campfire crackles, illuminating a figure entering our circle. He moves with vigor despite the lateness of the hour, hand wrapped around a walking stick. Those standing guard are already intercepting, but I wave them away. Do you have a place for a man of rod? He smiles at me hopefully. Dirty clothes rustling in the stiff breeze. A wandering... I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce this letter here. Is that like a D? Like Cody? Or is it like a TH? Like Cody? Not sure, so let me know down in the comments below. I might just have to Google it as well. I said maybe, but not one of our... Or he says maybe, but not one of our faith. That much I can tell. A few of my fellow believers shuffle their feet uncomfortably as they make the same realization. So we could welcome him. This is a diplomacy challenge. Probably going to fail. We suck at diplomacy. Going with this option gets you that traveler trait. That's +1 diplomacy, increased opinion, and we also get experience in the wander branch. So this would be pretty useful. If this wasn't a roleplay, that's the one I would go with, but that's not what Magnus would say. He'd say be gone. We don't want your type here. Gets us 100 piety and then also will be known as an inflexible worshipper. This character is unstinting in their release and does not brook heretics. So yeah, we'll go with that option. Probably not the best, considering that we're going into lands of a very different religion here. So I guess this chieftain is dancing over here. Yeah, he's getting down. Look at him go. So this is the Holy Tree event. I'm told that nature is venerated here. As an extension of the will of gods, we watch as the locals adorn an old tree and find materials and jewelry as if they are courting it. Many in my entourage are satisfied to watch from a distance, but I feel compelled to do something more. So we can say fascinating. As a sadistic character who would gain stress, 8% chance that we get the excellent Wiseman trait here, which increases the learning. Instead we could say have the tree burned, a prowess challenge, 65% chance of success. We lose stress because we're sadistic, good chance of getting wounded, failing, losing prestige, or we could join in the celebration. I don't think we'd do that. We're going to burn the tree, even if, it's a 1/3 chance that we're going to fail here. And the tree is set ablaze, so we gain some piety and the chieftain is quite upset with us. We're experiencing a night attack. It's night when the attackers fall on our perimeter, a motley flash of glinting armor and flashing weapons, lit only by the distant firelight. If they're wearing any colors, they're not visible, but their intent is clear enough all the same. Remove us dead or alive. The camp is not without defenders though, and with a cry of outrage, we prepare to push back this local scourge. I wonder if this has to do with that event we just did, where we burned their tree down. It might. So we can say counterattack with me. This is a martial challenge, 78% chance we'll be successful, 22% chance that us and our followers will get wounded. Instead we could do the prowess challenge, into the fray I go, very likely to succeed here, 96% chance we have a successful rampage, or hide from the chaos, which we would not do that. Yeah, let's use our prowess instead of our martial, because we're very skilled there. So we had a successful rampage and got 150 prestige. Alright, excellent. So we have several new contracts available here. This one was already there. It does look like they have a few extra soldiers. 2 options to mug wealthy citizens. And there's this one here as well. Looks like that one will be completed before we get there, and thus we wouldn't get any bonus since we didn't actually help out in that. So instead, let's do the hired muscle one, because I tried doing that up north, and unfortunately something happened with it and we weren't able to complete it. So again, we'll go with the balanced approach here and get all of our characters assigned. Probably do something similar to what we did last time and get him in as the footpad. And you could put her in to speed this up even faster. But I'm a little worried about the success chance if we don't put her into one of these 2 positions. The bodyguard would be best. Yeah, let's get that up to 85%. He'll decrease it down to 16 days. That gets it to 86%. So a good chance that we'll be successful here. And we'll only have to get the 5 advantages as well. And we'll have the success chance up probably before we get the advantages. We got an event here about finding foreign fruits. So if we go with this option, 75% chance we'll get some provisions, or 25% chance everybody gets sick. Or we could do this, in which case we'll gain stress because we're brave. I think we're gonna go with that option, and of course, 25% chance we all get poisoned. That's great. So now we're all ill, reducing our prowess, fertility, or health, the dread. And so that will also affect these characters, I think, although it looks like we're still in the same position. So I suppose once you assign them, it doesn't change, or maybe it just hasn't had a chance to change yet now that all of our followers are sick. So not a great situation there. We got an event here, an extra hand. For all the authority I supposedly wield as captain, I cannot be everywhere in my camp at once. There will always be those who forget to obey my orders once my attention is turned elsewhere. This is where my champion, Svartrbjörn, could come in, who has been faithfully enforcing my decrees while touring the countryside. Could he serve as my right-hand man and take a more active role in ministering my camp? So this is not related to the officer position of second. Instead, it gives you a modifier has a right hand, increasing control growth and increasing his opinion, and we'll spend more time with him as well. Well, let's see what kind of man he is. He's fickle, deceitful, zealous, strong. Kind of sounds like somebody who'd get along well with Magnus, doesn't he? Yeah, sure. Why not? We'll go with this option. He'll be our right hand. Hopefully that doesn't cause issues between him and our current second. So very close to getting this done, guys. Just need to let it go one more phase here. There's also a new mercenary contract we might need to take a look at. But yeah, let's go and execute this scheme. 79% chance of success, so it did go down. Could wait to get it higher, but we're just gonna go with this. And of course it's a failure. Wow, guys, Jesus. It's a let's play. It is a let's play. It is official. 75% chance that we don't get sick, and yet we all get sick. And then 79% chance that we succeed in that mission, and yet we fail. Alright guys, so yeah, we have not had good luck in this playthrough. And you know, compared to my other playthroughs, it has been quite a bit worse in that regard. We do have a fight corruption contract down there. We might move a bit further before we accept that though. Hopefully it'll still be there, or we'll have another one that we can select. What we can go ahead and do, oops, didn't mean to go in there yet. We didn't earn any money, so can't do anything in our camp. But let's go ahead and hear the story. Maybe just get the stewardship bonus in this case. Don't want to grant any money for the whip. We don't really need it that much. We did get the increased stewardship. Alright, so there's that. So that's helpful. Got a little bit of luck there, since that's a low chance of success. Let's see if there's anybody worth recruiting. We have a little bit of money, so I mean, if they're decent, she's just learning. She's stewardship. This character's alright, but he's really old. So nobody worth paying. So let's head back out. So I suppose we can look at this real quick. See if there's any possible events. Treasure map. This does require some far travel. I think we might do this one here. Spend the prestige. So I don't have to move. Because yeah, we didn't get any provisions. Because we failed that mission. So that's 2 hired muscle missions that we failed. I mean, one of them just broke. Or canceled itself, whatever you want to say there. I don't know if we should have done this while everybody's sick. Maybe I should have waited till everybody got better. Because yeah, they're just not as skilled now. But yeah, I want to make use of our time here. So let's go ahead and have him assigned there, and then she'll just help us out here. So back to a 79% chance. I mean, good grief, I don't want to cancel that. You'd expect that we'd be able to succeed at the 79% chance at least once, right? So we had a crime of passion. So rounding a little cluster of tents as I leave my pavilion, I come across a gaggle of followers having dinner around a small hearth. So these two characters don't enjoy each other's company. And it looks like one of them said something to send the other into a blind rage. With the flash, a weapon is drawn and blood is about to be spilled. So we can intervene, a diplomacy challenge that we would very likely fail. It's unfortunate everybody's doing this while we're all sick. We can instead say, why not settle this with a proper duel? And these two characters will duel to the death. As a wrathful and cruel character, this might be something we would enjoy. We can instead just send her to the stocks, punish her. We have a fair reason, so nobody would think that we're a tyrant. Or we could just let this play out, and they'll duel to the death that way as well. I think this is the better option. Results in everybody being entertained and losing stress right when we're sick. This is what we need. We need a good fight to enjoy. So these two characters, this is that chased guy who we're friends with. And so it would be unfortunate if we lost him. Oh yeah, he's the doctor. Okay, I didn't realize the chase guy is the doctor. We need to appoint him as doctor. And see if that costs us anything. I guess he's got to live through this. His prowess is 3. Hers is 14. I don't think that changes the situation though, even though she's about to kill the doctor. We need a bit of entertainment in our lives. This just feels like Magnus. Well, we saved the guy because we wanted a doctor. Yeah, we're going with this option guy. And of course she won, as expected. And so we lost our doctor. Well, it is what it is. So that did remove him from the scheme as well. So now the phases are going to be slightly longer. Honestly, he was kind of crappy. We are better now, so no longer ill. I don't know about the rest of our followers though, how they're doing. We'd actually have to take a look in our camp followers. Seems that one of them's better, the rest are still sick. The camp is happy, so that's good. And we do have this mission completed. We could let it go a little bit longer if we wanted to, just because I already got the 6th one. Yeah, we'll get up to the 10. I wasn't planning on doing that. I didn't feel like it was worth it. I feel like it's worth going to 10 now, since we only have to get 4 more, in the case of the moment, 3 more. So I think we've seen this event before. So we can force our way into this lodging here. Gain the dread. 64% chance that the hint is taken, there'll be a discount, and we'll get the comfortable trappings. So some nice bonuses there. 29% chance your threatening becomes overt, and we'll get some experience in the bandit. Where things could get out of hand and we have to kill Berta. 5% chance of that, in which case we'll get experience in the marauder. We could instead do the diplomacy challenge. Obviously we wouldn't do that. You know, we're in an irritated mood right now. We're going to go with this option. Take the dread, and hopefully we succeed. The hint is taken. It's only 5 gold to get those bonuses. They're helpful. Get that provision capacity up to 3125. Alright, so one more phase here, guys. And then we'll be able to complete this contract, or hopefully complete it. I guess we'll see. So we're going to use those advantages, get up another 5%, and we were now successful. So we earned the 91 gold, increased our opinion, got a new patron, and also got the 500 provisions. So unfortunately we do have to end today's episode here. I was hoping to get a little bit further in the second video. However, we have a lot of events to read. Quite a few different events that popped up. A lot of interesting things happening. Weren't quite as successful today as I had hoped. I really wanted to start with the mercenary missions. We have 210 now, so we could spend that to increase our men-at-arms a bit larger, and then start engaging in some of these stand with us missions. Maybe find a decent one that we have a good chance to help out in, so probably not that one. We'll take a look. There's a lot of other missions to do as well, so might want to do one of those before we do that, just to earn a bit more money. But I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. I do hope to see you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching.